the committee led by Sir Murungara, Sir George, for having done a good job, especially on this particular bill, that the bill seeks to establish the Judiciary Academy. The Judiciary Academy, Madam Speaker, is supposed to actually be the institution that is taking continuing education for magistrates, for judges, and for judicial staff. Madam Speaker, as we all know, that education is a lifelong process. And the judges that were in school far much earlier, maybe 20, 30 years ago, will actually need to have refresher courses. Will actually need to go through capacity building. Will also need to go through new courses on how to handle emerging issues. Madam Speaker, as you look at the society today, this bill tries to address a number of issues that are coming up. For example, the issues of the AI. How are we going to legislate and handle cases relating to AI? How are we going to look into issues that are very modern in our society today? Madam Speaker, the establishment of the Judiciary Academy is going to be very important, especially in improving the skills, the abilities, and information of the judicial staff, the judges from the Court of Appeal, the High Court, the Supreme Court, and then the support staff, the researchers, and the staff that are actually the IT staff, and more importantly, even the drafters. Madam Speaker, we need to know that judges actually do a lot of work for this country. And like yesterday, you saw they went through the whole day going through that particular judgment. Even in terms of handling very modern cases, especially on issues that have arisen in our societies. So this school will go a long way to assist them to be up to date on so many matters that are going to have in the society. Part 3 of the bill, especially clauses 13 to 15, provides for the financial provisions, including the sources of funds for the academy. In fact, this is actually going to assist in making sure that the Judiciary Academy is going to be stable financially, it is going to be accountable, and the financial year of the academy is also indicated. It also goes a long way in ensuring that the Judiciary Academy is going to have the annual estimates of the academy, of the year. Part 4 of the bill, or clauses 16 to 18, provides for the general provision, including the common seal of the academy. Madam Speaker, we all know that as an institution which is actually going to assist in educating or in actually capacity building the judges, the magistrates, and all the staff, it is very important that it has a common seal, which is actually a provision, which is a protection of the members of the board and also the staff of the academy from personal liability and the liability of the academy for damages. So in effect, Madam Speaker, this institution is very important. It is important in the sense that it will actually ensure that the judiciary has a school or an academy the way other institutions of government like the Parliamentary Staff Training College at Karen, which is actually doing good work for these members of parliament and the staff. We also have the staff training for the KRA and all other staffs in this country. And therefore, I arise to support and more importantly, to say this is a good thing for this country and the Judicial Service Commission. I support. Thank you.
The Honorable Didi Nyoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, in a progressive modern economy, there are 3 tenets that are very important, which acts as a foundation of a thriving modern economy. One is the bureaucracy, which is modern. Number 2 is the rule of law. And number 3 is, of course, accountability through democracy. And Honorable Speaker, in our country like Kenya, which we must always do our best as leaders to make it a thriving modern economy. Honorable Speaker, it is very important that we know that the rule of law itself is a very important component when it also actually comes to the growth of an economy. For example, the story of Singapore is told, Honorable Speaker, and many people just think it's about manufacturing and it's about how the industry is set up in Singapore. But Honorable Speaker, many times we don't see that many investors actually preferred to set base in Singapore based on the legal framework they had, Honorable Speaker, which is Commonwealth law and which Kenya is also domiciled in, Honorable Speaker. Because when investors want to go into a country, one thing that is very critical is whether that economy respects the ownership, Honorable Speaker, of assets. And whatever enforces that in many respects is the judiciary, which acts as the anchor of the rule of law. But Honorable Speaker, even as we talk about judiciary itself, judiciary is by itself a bureaucracy because it is a system of government which has many stratas and that which is a system by itself. And it is important that even as we make our bureaucracy in terms of the executive efficient, through training and also through dissemination of information to make it more efficient, it is also important that we look at the other side and the other levels of government, Honorable Speaker, judiciary being one of them, in terms of making it more efficient, more knowledgeable in all respects. And Honorable Speaker, having an institution that only plays that role goes into entrenching that. Across many economies and countries, we have seen even China in the ancient, Honorable Speaker, when during the Ding dynasties and the others, that the primacy of having a robust bureaucracy was very important. And bureaucracy is made robust through training, through dynamism in terms of information, so that all the time they continue to be abreast with time, to be dynamic in a matter of time, but also dynamic as a matter of getting in as much information as there is for efficient running and efficient decision making. Honorable Speaker, it is important that we know that the judiciary is not just about judges. There are many what I would call paraprofessionals who also take part in making our judiciary work. Yes, paralegal, yes. Honorable Karori Omodi, that's very good information. Paralegal. It is important that we know it is beyond only judges, but there are also others, people who take part of whatever happens there. And of course, having an institution like the one we call Kenya School of Government in the executive, having an equivalent in the judiciary will go a long way in making sure that you have refined staff who continue to get information as it comes and who continues to be as dynamic as the world itself. And it's important that we continue to also invest in it so that the administration of justice also continues to aid our economic growth, and especially through timely dissemination of justice, but also that which also is efficient and dynamic. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, it is also good that even us as a House, we also continue to be dynamic so that we continue to give our country the relevant laws, so that we don't have ambiguities when we go to the court of laws, so that we have straightforward judgments, Honorable Speaker, so that when we go before our judiciary, we can get clarity on the issues that we go to seek, Honorable Speaker. With those many remarks, I wish to submit.
What's your point of order? The Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, is Honorable Ndidi in order to talk about the Judicial Academy, which has to do with judiciary, without mentioning the decision that has just been made of our Honorable Wamunyoro. I thought he would take that as a very serious issue and discuss it within the context of what has just gone on, Mr. Speaker. Is he in order?
Much as it is entertaining, what you have raised. One, it's not a point of order. Two, you raise or applies on a point of order when the member is still on his feet contributing, not after he sat down. The Honorable Karoli Omondi, do you wish to contribute? I see your name here. Only two who have contributed. Karoli, I'm told that you have already contributed to this. But you should clarify that yourself. The Honorable Madam Esther Passaris.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the Kenya Judiciary Academy Bill 2025. Honorable Speaker, continuous judicial education is a constitutional imperative and essential component of a modern justice system. Our judges, magistrates, registrars, and judicial officers are called upon daily to interpret increasingly complex laws, address emerging technologies, respond to evolving social realities, and uphold the rights guaranteed under our Constitution. To do so effectively, they must have access to ongoing professional development and specialized training. This bill gives statutory recognition to the Kenya Judiciary Academy and provides clear legal frameworks for its governance, mandate, and financing. By anchoring the Academy in law, we are strengthening capacity of the judiciary to deliver justice that is timely, competent, fair, and responsive to the needs of Kenyans. Across the world, mature democracies have invested heavily in judicial education institutions because they recognize that the quality of justice depends not only on laws, but on the continuous development of those entrusted to interpret them and apply them. In the United States, the National Judicial College has trained judges from all 50 states and more than 150 countries. Its programs have helped improve case management, judicial ethics, alternative dispute resolution mechanism, and reduction of court delays. In England and Wales, the Judicial College provides continuing education for judges across civil, criminal, family, and tribunal jurisdictions. Importantly, judicial training remains under judicial control, reinforcing the principle that judicial independence must be protected not only in decision making, but also in judicial development and education. Across Europe, the European Judicial Training Network facilitates cooperation among judicial institutions, promotes consistent applications of law, and strengthening mutual trust between courts in different jurisdictions. The results has been great efficiency, improved competence, and stronger judicial cooperation across borders. These examples demonstrate that judicial academies do more than train judges. They strengthen jurisprudence, improve court efficiency, promote ethical conduct, encourage consistency in judicial decisions, and enhance public confidence in the judicial system. As we support the bill, however, we must zealously guard against the independence of the judiciary. Judicial education must never become a pathway for political influence. The governance of the Academy should remain firmly anchored within the Judicial Service Commission and the judiciary itself. In keeping with the doctrine of separation of powers and constitutional principles of judicial independence, I also encourage the Academy to place great emphasis on emerging areas such as cybercrime, artificial intelligence, digital evidence, environmental justice, gender-based violence, child protection, mental health, mediation, and alternative dispute resolution. The justice system must evolve alongside the society it serves. Finally, judicial education should not focus solely on legal knowledge. It should also it should also strengthen ethics, integrity, leadership, case management, trauma-informed justice, and victim-sensitive approaches. Justice must not be seen to be done, but it must be experienced by citizens as fair, humane, and accessible. A strong judiciary is one of the pillars of a stable democracy. By strengthening the Kenya Judicial Academy, we are investing in the quality of justice and for the future generations that will serve Kenyans. For those reasons, I stand here and support the bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Madam Kimei Beatrice.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity, at least to support this bill, the Kenya Judiciary Academy Bill of 2025, Honorable Speaker. And recently we had a bill about the Forest Academy, which I am a committee of environment, forestry, and mining. And from there, I realized that unless we have an academy that does things, improves on training, improves on induction, and improves on areas of concern, then we will not go far. So for this case, I stand to support this bill. And more importantly, Honorable Speaker, Article 172, 1B of the Constitution mandates the Judicial Service Commission to prepare and implement programs for the continuation or continuing education training of judges and the officers concerned. And therefore, this bill will give a framework necessary for this constitutional obligation. And that is why I support it. Honorable Speaker, when we talk about the judges, unless they go through training, unless they go through orientation, induction, and continuous training, it may not be very easy, even for them, and especially those who have been in the system for very long, many years ago, because of the many issues that are coming up, the many emerging issues, areas of concern, like now the digital evidence, the cybercrime, the AI, environmental justice, and even international commercial law. So to catch up with that, the judges need training, they need induction, they need refresher course to catch up with the emerging issues. And therefore, this academy, being the principal institution for judicial training and capacity building, will be good for the judges, at least for that particular reason. I would also want to say, Honorable Speaker, that when we have this judicial academy, it will be an academy for the regional, to be a center of excellence in the region. And this will also strengthen the Kenya's position as a leader in judicial reform. That is to say, even other countries will actually be getting more knowledge from our judges because of that, Honorable Speaker. And this will even encourage many other young lawyers or maybe the magistrates and all that to make sure that they be more informed. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I want to say that when we allow this academy in the region, we'll also have campuses in other counties. This will also decentralize the academy, and this will improve access to training opportunities and support the constitutional values. And maybe to add on that, Honorable Speaker, the cases that we normally have take very long, many years, and this one becomes unfair even to the people going for the same. And when we have this academy and the magistrates, the judges are actually more knowledgeable, the cases will even take a shorter time. And therefore, I truly support and say it should be done as fast as possible, Honorable Speaker. And finally, the Board of Directors gets representation from judiciary, legal profession, universities, and other institutions. This diverse composition promotes accountability, professionalism, and stakeholder participation in the management of the academy. It is very important for us as a country that we have this important academy that will also sort and solve many of our issues. Once more, I support it, and thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
What's your point of order, the Honorable Makilap?
Mr. Speaker, I raise under Standing Order 95 that since this bill has been exhaustively debated, Mr. Speaker, we call the mover to reply.
Order, so that Honorable Makilap, the mood in the House does not favor. Order. The Honorable Mutunga.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I am grateful that you have ruled.
There's a very, very important finance bill.
I'm grateful that you have ruled against the subversion brought about my colleague to give us an opportunity to contribute to this important bill. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support that Kenya goes the way of coming up with the Kenya Judiciary Academy.
Mutunga, the chair was just communicating something. If you might take your seat briefly, just for a minute. Chairman Mutunga, take your seat for a moment. You know, the primary function of a house, of a National Assembly, is to pass finance bills. Yeah, if you understand the history of this. So we have a finance bill because the public debt is basically a finance bill. Consideration of the expenditure of the consolidated fund services. And it's, I'll give 2 more or 3 more people, maximum 2, before we move on to the next order. Mutunga, take as little time as possible and say as many brilliant ideas as you can within that shortest possible time. Proceed. Please give him the mic.
Are you able to give me the mic? Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the Kenya Judiciary Academy Bill. Honorable Speaker, the question is whether this academy is necessary at this point in time. And I answer, yes, it is at the stage of development where Kenya is, and in tandem with the development of the other countries in the world. Honorable Speaker, this academy will be a resolution center. A resolution center in terms of coordinating, in terms of implementing, in terms of organized capacity building for the judicial officers and judicial service personnel, so that we have better people to deliver the function. Honorable Speaker, there has been a missing link. The inauguration of this particular institution or establishment of this academy will basically bridge the gap to the extent that we will be able to prepare our professionals before they get into the commissioning. They will also be able to orientate them appropriately so that they may know exactly what is expected of them. I know for sure that judicial officers, most of them have gone through the training on law, on legal matters, and also Kenya School of Law. But then, when it comes to the practice itself, they need to be orientated by people who have been in the practice for a long time. Madam Speaker, it will also be able to under the approaches of induction and also provide for further training and identification of who is supposed to be trained at any particular point in time. Madam Speaker, this particular institute, academy, will enable us to basically organize and coordinate and building the content of engagement with other institutions across the globe. Madam Speaker, to engage with other institutions it is possible, it is important for us to be content oriented, to know exactly what we need, what are our gaps, what exactly are we looking for. When we go from benchmarking, we need to know exactly what we are benchmarking on. And when we do not have an academy that resolves the issues within this particular sector, then it is not possible. It's also going to provide linkages and also foster partnerships for development, partnership in the judicial services and in the legal fraternity, Honourable Speaker, and bring in other like-minded institutions to think together and resolve on how to develop, to discharge the function. Honourable Speaker, there is the creation of a knowledge repository or information repository, which is important. Data is key for purposes of growth and development. Data is key for research, and without data that is credible and data that can be bankable, then it is not possible for us to develop appropriately. It is going to also provide opportunity for research into the different approaches that have been taken in the determination of many cases that have been determined in the country, the processes that have been used, the historical injustices, if there have been any, and therefore it is possible for us to chart a way forward through research and findings thereby so that we may be able to develop a better judicial system in the country. It is also going to help us to basically express the profession to the people who may not be professionals in the area, in the sense that there will be periodicals and journals that will be read by people who are not necessarily lawyers or in the judicial sector, as it were. Honourable Speaker, it will also enable us to review or reflect on the administration of justice, in the sense that some of the anomalies or some of the failures that probably may be identifiable can be addressed in the future thinking, in the future planning, in the future training of such an institution. So it is going to help us a great deal to be able to organize the judicial service, as it were, and as a country. Honourable Speaker, it will also enable us to organize the other actors, to bring the other actors together. There are very many actors who are relevant in this particular field, and probably the role play, the mandate of these actors may not be very clear. And therefore, when we have an academy that is thinking through the sectoral issues, then it is possible for us to bring the actors with their mandates very clear, and therefore even their targets and also their deliverables being very well identified. It will help in progressing the career. The judicial career is key, and it keeps on changing. It's an evolving career. With the complications in the world, with the developments, as it were, it is important for us to have an academy that is going to be thinking through the developments across the board, and therefore translating and interpreting these developments in the extent and the possibilities that there may be. So it will also be able to bring in standards, or rather develop standards and apply these standards so that the standards can be used to develop the career and develop the profession, and therefore have a cross-checking mechanism to have a sector that is focused and that grows in the right direction. So, Honourable Speaker, with those few remarks, I support. Thank you very much.
Honourable Sane. Can you give him the mic? The MP for Wajir North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In supporting the Kenya Judiciary Academy Bill 2025, I would wish to briefly run through my points without denying my colleagues the chance to contribute. Mr. Speaker, the Academy shall be an intellectual repository for all judicial staff and even officers of the court. It will be the source of wisdom through which fine principles shall come out for practice. Mr. Speaker, it will bolster the independence of judiciary as stipulated in the Constitution. An informed judiciary staff will strengthen, fortify the independence of the judiciary as it was envisaged. Mr. Speaker, we have had cases of case backlogs, files being lost, exhibits misplaced or mishandled. With this kind of academy, we will be able to bring all judiciary staff abreast of what is required of them, so that justice cannot be denied in any form or way. Mr. Speaker, This academy shall make sure that our magistrates and judges are well informed on contemporary legal dynamics, legal issues, discourses. The law is on motion, Mr. Speaker. So is the society. So that we can be in tandem, both the law and the society. This kind of academy shall make sure that our judges can be able to think on their toes. Our magistrates can think on their feet and make sure that they can dispel justice as is expected of them. That will offer continuous professional education, Mr. Speaker, tailor-made, specialized training for judges and magistrates and even judiciary staff, the clerks, the bottom level, which may be ill-informed. We have so many clerks at the judiciary who may not have the legal knowledge. So this academy comes at a time when we need to train all our judiciary staff to make sure that they have the requisite skills, legal skills to handle matters law. Mr. Speaker, transnational organized crime has been a major concern, a complex matter internationally. To handle such complex issues, this academy comes also handy to make sure that our judges, magistrates, and judiciary staff can handle such international concern and international crimes so that they can deal with it accordingly. It will offer a platform for e-learning, flexibility, so that all the staff can be able to learn and get acquainted with the law and the procedures of the court, Mr. Speaker. This academy shall be the think tank, and it will be the source of research, a hub for the knowledge so required in this country for all our legal minds, Mr. Speaker. It will offer mentorship. It will interface with other countries, regions, the East Africa being one, being a member of the East African community and other international communities. It will be able to mentor our judges, magistrates, and even our staff, and also imbibe knowledge we so need from other countries, and therefore improve our legal practice in this country. And finally, Mr. Speaker, this academy shall offer a good stakeholder engagement. It shall be able to deal with the judiciary itself, deal with the legislature, deal with the public, all arms of government. And with that kind of engagement, there will be more trust built and confidence on the part of the judiciary. With those few contributions, I support.
Madam Nyanze.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also hear my contribution to this bill. From the onset, I say that this bill seeks to formally establish the Kenyan Judiciary Academy as a legal body. And it is very important, especially at this particular time, since we have rapid growth in technology. And this rapid growth, we have witnessed emerging issues like also AI. We have seen cybercrime. We've also seen transnational crimes. And these ones, this rapid growth in technology requires continuous improvement, continuous growth. And this academy will give that platform for continuous growth and also on how to tackle such issues. Mr. Speaker, recently we witnessed the Njanji's retirement benefits bill being ascended to, showing, and this shows ongoing judiciary reforms. And this academy is part of the wider efforts to strengthen the judiciary's institutional capacity. So this institution is very important because this is where judges and judicial officers, magistrates will be trained. And this would ensure continuing professional development of the judicial officers. Also, the public would also be enlightened on legal education, and this would give access to justice. And Mr. Speaker, this institution would also ensure that there is more research in law,
and administration of justice. So with this institution, researchers would even be enlightened more. And why this institution matters is that it will show independence. It will give independence and judicial training in law. This institution would also offer standards by harmonizing training instead of fragmented programs. So it will offer standards whereby the law would be put in one place. There would also be access to justice, which will show that better trained officers will improve, especially in case management, and reduce backlog. This is an issue which Kenya has suffered for a very long time. That is the backlog of many cases. So this institution, this academy, would ensure that there is better trained officers, which would show improvement in even handling cases. Mr. Speaker, also funding would be ensured to this institution, because now this academy can get direct budget, and this budget can now be allocated under Article 173 of the framework, showing that this academy would actually become independent. So with all those main remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support the academy, which will give continuous learning and continuous improvement in judicial matters. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to add my voice on this bill and support it. Mr. Speaker, the Judicial Academy Bill 2025 is one piece of legislation that we need to speed up its enactment. I've gone through the functions of this particular bill and noted that one key area that in dispensation of justice, we believe that there are particular category of staff that are very key, and these are judicial staffs. Apart from judges and magistrates who have the legal training, we have the clerks and other judicial staffs that are just hired directly from school, and they have nowhere where they can acquire this the legal training knowledge. And these particular people are very key, Honorable Speaker, in dispensation of justice to our people. These are the people who handle exhibits. They are the people who manage the files in court, but they have no knowledge on how, even on recording exhibits in court, how they record it, how to safeguard exhibit for our people, to ensure that for those people who go to seek justice in court, they get justice. Honorable Speaker, we note that most professions in this country right now, they're embracing progressive professional training. For lawyers who are practicing, we have the continuous legal education, which is really handy for the practicing lawyers, because you get trained on emerging issues that you never go to opportunity to learn while undergoing the legal training. When you come to medical practitioners, they also have their continuous continuous medical training, so that it's part of the training that you must satisfy for you to get the license to practice the following year. So for our judicial staffs, this is a very handy piece of legislation that's going to help them progress their legal knowledge so that they serve our people better. And in our courts, you have other officers like probation officers, children officers. These are the people that help courts to deliver justice to our people. So for us to synchronize this service delivery in terms of the legal knowledge, we need to have all these people trained together on emerging issues. And also when we hire our judges and magistrates, where we hire them from those from practice, we hire them from the corporate sector, we hire them from academia. So it's very important that once an officer has been hired to serve as a judge or a magistrate, it's important that we take them through the academy so that we refresh their mind, because the legal practice is diverse. Once someone completes training of law, he may choose to practice maybe land law, he may practice criminal law, he may practice even tax law. But once you cross over to join the bench, you are supposed to offer services that cuts across the board. So this particular academy will help us train and refresh the officers that we hire so that they can offer the best services to our people. Mr. Speaker, I support this particular bill.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm not here standing up to reply. I'm on a point of order to do certain clarifications regarding the bill. As the promoter of the bill, I must confess that the move of the bill is the lead of majority, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wa, and he's coming to reply. I must also thank the second of the bill. She's seated over there, Honorable Zuleka Haruni. She actually seconded the bill and it progressed very well. Two things I wish to clarify. Number one,
I know
what's your point of order, the Honorable Julius Nkuli?
I know the Honorable Murugara is a very eminent lawyer and member of this House. But in accordance with our standing orders, once a member has contributed to a matter, he cannot have a second bite on it. And he cannot bring it under any other purview except to say that he is replying on behalf of the movement.
No. He says he's on a point of order.
No, but you see...
the clarification. Well, what exactly do you want to do, Honorable Murugara?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Number one, I'm on a point of order. Therefore, there is no way you can also raise a point of order on a point of order. There's still something we're talking about.
What's your point of order? Order, Honorable.
Yes.
What's your point of order? Order, Honorable MP.
Honorable Udo.
What's your point of order?
I have the standing orders in my fingertips, so don't ask me which one I'm supposed to cite. Honorable.
Daktari, you cannot turn this into a fish market. Proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the clarification as the promoter of the bill is on Article 172, Sub-Article 1D. No, I've not spoken on the matter. It's clarification that I'm doing. You cannot bar me from clarifying. See. Maclap, what is
order, honorable members, order. Honorable Murugara.
Yes.
Order. Honorable Murugara.
Yes.
I have the bill in front of me here. And you, as the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs,
yes,
is the sponsor of the bill.
Yes, absolutely. I'm the promoter of the bill.
You're the promoter of the bill.
Absolutely. Therefore, surely nothing will bar me from where I feel there deserves to be a clarification on a point of information. Nothing bars me.
No, that order. Honorable members, the chair is seized on this house and the matter in front, and is going to give a direction. Order. I am addressing the house.
Yeah.
MP for Funyula. For God's sake, why would you want to invite the wrath of the chair? For absolutely no reason. You need to go order. You better take your seat first. I do understand that if you feel that there has been an understanding or a comprehension of the bill itself that you feel is misinformed, you can rise on a point of information and correct that. But you are rising on a point of information when who is on the floor? So you rise on that point of information when the majority leader or anybody else who is out there is going to be on the floor, and if he grants you that opportunity to inform the House, then you proceed and correct whatever you feel was incorrectly delivered in the first place. You can only say much obliged and sit down. But proceed. Now,
give me I say it so that we get it clear.
No, you have to. You can only stand on a point of information. If there's somebody on the floor,
I am on a point of correction.
No, there's no point of correction.
Thank you.
Honorable Murugara, order.
Thank you very much.
With all due respect to you, you know how much I respect you. Please take your seat. Please take your seat. Order. Please take your seat and interrupt. I have not given you any. What's wrong with you? Why are you so excited? The matter has been put to rest. I have put it to rest. You can only stand on a point of information when somebody is contributing on the same, and if that person, the contributor, is willing to be informed, then he can say there was a misinformation, and that's where it is. Now, order. Under circumstances, I will call upon the mover to reply. Now, once the mover is replying, you cannot order. Proceed, mover to reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. That was more or less a commercial break. And let me begin, Honorable Speaker, by thanking all the members, especially the members of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, who considered this bill in their committee and conducted very extensive public participation and engaged with many stakeholders, including members of our judiciary, the academy itself, because the Judicial Academy actually does exist. It's not something new that is being created. It's just that it was operating under a legal notice, and now we want to anchor it in statute. And Honorable Speaker, in those engagements, and as I've heard from many members in their contributions, there were issues that came up, especially issues touching on the possible fiscal strain to our resources. And the National Treasury is one of the issues that I saw in their public participation report that they raised red flags on. The potential fiscal strain that the Academy could exert on resources that are going to the Judicial Service Commission and the judiciary. And therefore, they emphasized that we must have a very lean and efficient institutional framework and structure that will not create unnecessarily heavy burden to taxpayers. And I want to ask that JLAC, members of the JLAC committee, because they are the ones who oversight the commission, to ensure, and I know, Honorable Speaker, you are a member of this committee, that in your oversight role, you ensure then that we come to the realization of that aspiration that we will not have an institutional structure that is burdening the taxpayer, but it must be one that is very lean and efficient. And I believe the judiciary, through the Judicial Service Commission, has the capacity to be able to run such an institution. To Honorable Speaker, I think the most pertinent issue that I've had being raised by members is on the possible conflicts between the provisions of Article 172, Sub-Article D, 172(1)D, that gives the function, as part of the functions of the judiciary, and I know the member for Kilgoris, the Honorable member for Kilgoris, did raise this issue and in fact approached my office some time back around the same issue. That part of the function of the Judicial Service Commission is to prepare and implement programs for the continuing education and training of judges and judicial officers. Therefore, there was that possible conflict that this is a role that has been given to the Judicial Service Commission, yet we are now again in statute establishing an institute, or rather an academy, that will be doing exactly what the Judicial Service Commission has been explicitly given in the Constitution to do, or a role that has, or a function that has been explicitly been provided for in the Constitution as the role of the Judicial Service Commission. And again, the Justice and Legal Affairs did engage in this matter, and the amendments in Chapter 6 and explicitly tie the leash to this academy directly to the Judicial Service Commission. And Clause 5 has been restructured to state clearly that the academy will perform its training functions strictly on behalf of the Commission. And therefore, there is no clawing back on the provisions of the Constitution, as the member for Kilgoris, the Honorable Sunkuli, had raised on the floor and actually raised it with me. That following the public participation that they engaged in and aware of the issues, and I must thank the Honorable Sunkuli for his diligence. This is what good legislators and proper legislative mechanisms behove of us. And thank you, Honorable Sunkuli, because it's something that you had noted and raised it. And the committee also did note that the provisions of the Constitution 172(1)(d) explicitly provide that function will be the function of the Judicial Service Commission. Therefore, we cannot by statute claw back on that which has been provided for in the Constitution, because as we all know, those who studied a bit of law, Honorable Speaker, and I know you have not studied a bit of it, you've studied it in detail, that any law or any statute that is inconsistent with the Constitution will be void, ultra vires, if I remember my commercial law. Yes. It was said to be ultra vires, and therefore, to avoid that risk, then that clarification has been done in Clause 6, in Chapter 6, Clause 5 of the bill, and therefore, we will not have to worry. Last, Honorable Speaker, we have completely deleted initial provisions that would have allowed the Academy to independently source outside grants or standalone funding tracts. Under the amended Clause 13, every single shilling spent by this academy must be explicitly approved by the National Assembly as a lean component of the main judiciary budget. Again, Honorable Speaker, this is to ensure that the judiciary remains independent. But as much as they're independent, then they must be oversighted. Therefore, the Jailer Committee, still as the people who oversight them, will have work to ensure that every coin that goes into this academy is checked by members of the committee on behalf of the House. And therefore, to ensure that that which was asked for by the National Treasury, that we have a lean and efficient structure, is actualized. And therefore, again, back to your committee in the JLAC, you have work to do. Honorable Speaker, on issues that I have seen members also raise, again, the committee noted on worries concerning management overlaps between the positions of Director General and Registrar. And Honorable Speaker, the amendments clean up this up very neatly by ensuring that the Director General is appointed directly by the Commission to provide strategic direction. And Clause 11 has been has also been amended, if you look at the committee's report, to clarify that the registrar is a singular head of staff and the functional accounting officer of the academy. Therefore, just like in ministries, you have a CS who is the head of policy directives or policy formulation in the ministry, and a PS who is the accounting officer. Even here, we'll have the Director General who will be appointed by the Commission to offer strategic direction to the academy, but the work of the accounting officer will be vested in the office of the registrar, and therefore there will be no possible conflict, as a few members had raised, and the committee also noted. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I think with that I have done justice to many of the issues that members had raised, that I was noting even as I sat in my office. I was noting some of the issues that members were raising, and I believe I have adequately replied, and therefore I beg to reply.
Honorable members, I now put the question. that the Kenya Judiciary Academy Bill, National Assembly Bill number 42 of 2025 be now read a second time. Will as many of the appear and say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary appear and say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to establish the Kenya Judiciary Academy to give effect to Article 172 1D of the Constitution, to provide for the management functions and power of the Kenya Judiciary Academy and for connected purposes. Order number 9, motion, consideration of the expenditures of the Consolidated Fund Services under the budget estimates for the financial year 2026-2027.
Yes, what's your point of order, the Majority Leader?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wanted to beg your indulgence on a matter that we considered in the House Business Committee, but we opted not to have it done as part of as a supplementary order paper on business listed, without anticipating debate, Honorable Speaker, as on business listed as order number 10 and order number 11. The chair of the Agriculture Committee, who is here, the Honorable Mutunga, is finalizing on the report on the Plant Protection Bill listed under order number 10 and the Competition Amendment Bill listed under order number 11. The Finance Committee is also finalizing on stakeholder engagement. Therefore, wanted to seek your indulgence that we drop these two orders so that after order number 9, we proceed to order number 12 proceeding, and we drop from the order paper orders number 10 and 11.
Fair enough. It's so directed.
Thank you.
Now we are in order number 9. And order number 9, the Chair, Public Debt and Presidential Committee, can you move your motion?
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House adopts the report.
This House.
Okay, sorry.
You read it verbatim when it's supposed to be. Verbatim.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Public Debt and Privatization Committee on its consideration of the expenditures of the Consolidated Fund Services under the budget.
Is willing to be informed.